Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Hood, Thieves and Legends. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. Alright, so today we're going through kind of an overview and maybe some tips on Hood. But before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. Alright, so at its base, Hood is a PvE or PvEVP game where you can play with up to 3 other people, either pre-made or match-made, and go into a match, do some objectives, and then, get rewarded for your performance. So before we go into the details, let's get into what characters you can play as. First, there's Robin. He's the ranger. His super is an explosive arrow. He has a flashbang grenade for gear. His passive lets him tag enemies for longer periods of time. And of course, he has that long bow, which is great for taking out enemies at range. So one headshot with a full draw on the longbow will take out just about any enemy. Now, having said that, the flip side of that is that he is horrible at melee fights. So here you can see the flashbang. You throw it. As soon as it hits, there's a flash, and anyone that is looking in that direction will be blinded temporarily, good for getting away, or for setting up shots. Next, we have Marion, who is the stealthy assassin. Super turns her invisible for a short period of time. She has a smoke bomb for gear. Her passive lets her assassinate unaware state guards from any direction, and she also has a wrist-mounted crossbow. Now, unlike all the other characters who have to approach enemies from behind in order to take them out, she can assassinate anyone as long as they're unaware of her presence from any direction, so even from the front. Now, her crossbow can be loaded up with up to 3 arrows at one time. They are decent at short range, but not great at long range. Here you can see the smoke bomb, which will reduce visibility, so then the guards won't be able to see you, and then you can sneak up and take them out. So if you can hit with all 3, it does take a second to charge or load up all 3. And then, like I said, if you can hit all 3, it'll do a decent amount of damage. If you only have time to set up 1, it's going to do a little bit of damage. Or if you miss and you only hit 1 out of 3, it's not going to do as much damage. And of course, headshots do more damage than body shots. Also, not great as a melee fighter, better at being stealthy and taking them out without people knowing that you're there. John is a brawler. His super gives him enhanced offense and defense. His gear is a bomb. Enough said about that. His passive lets him raise gates that are locked down. And of course, he is sporting a big sledgehammer. Now, this character happens to be the most straightforward to play as, because he is the brawler. He's a good melee fighter. His gear does a decent amount of damage over a large range, which is great. And his melee damage is quite nice as well. Always be aware of your stamina, which is to the right in blue there. So you have light attacks, you have heavy attacks, and the heavy attacks take up more stamina but do more damage if they hit. Now don't forget, unlike these dummies, live guards are going to fight back and guard themselves. This is a good point to say that John, since he is more of a brawler, a meleeer, he can block attacks, whereas Marion and Robin cannot. Tuck can heal people and highlight people with his super. He has a gas bomb as gear. He can get back stamina much more quickly, and he has a flail, which is a little bit longer of a distance than a sword, so he can keep guys more at a distance. And he is a good support character and also a melee fighter as well. Here you can see the bomb. Now, unlike some of the other gear, this one will affect you as well unless you have a perk that says otherwise. So, something to be aware of. There are perks that will change how some of these abilities and gear work, as well as things like experience or how much ability that you get from doing certain actions. Alright, so melee fighters, good at getting up close when you've been discovered, but you can still sneak around and take guys out, and that is, of course, preferred in this game. So be aware that even though you are playing as a melee fighter, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to melee every single guy in the game. Now, Tuck's super will heal anyone within a certain radius of him and highlight enemies within a larger radius. Now, the last character, Ida, is a sellsword. Bulwark will block arrows. That's a super. Gear has burning tar, which will slow and damage enemies. Passive will resupply gearboxes once every minute. And then you have that nice curved blade. I would have to say that Ida is probably the closest thing to a trained fighter in your band of merry men. So, much like John and Tuck, Ida does not have a ranged weapon, only a melee weapon. You can see the gear, it drops, takes a second, and then you have that burning tar over a decent area. Alright, so into the gameplay, you have different modes that you can play. You have the State Heist, which is a PvE with up to 4 players. You've got your Outlaw Heist, which is PvEVP, so you have 2 teams of 4 players, and then, of course, the NPCs. And then you have Gold Rush, which is the same, but with different objectives. And those are the main modes that you can play as. So this is a PvE match. It is a heist. So as such, you are going to start somewhere on a map. There's several different maps that are randomly selected. You start off by trying to find the sheriff, pickpocket the sheriff, get the key from the sheriff by pickpocketing him, find the vault, open the vault, grab the chest from the vault, and then carry the chest to the extraction point, and then load it onto a ship to get out. Seems very straightforward. There's a tutorial as soon as you start playing that is maybe a little oversimplified. That kind of tells you how to play. According to the tutorial, it'll only take you like 5 minutes to go through the whole match. I would say matches are going to take anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes per match. Gold Rush is timed, so it will only go for a certain amount of time. Heists are going to take a little bit longer. If you do an outlaw heist, it could take even longer still because you have to deal with the other team. So because nothing is marked on the map other than the starting point, you can kind of see what is going on, what the map more or less looks like with the buildings that are there. And then, of course, you can tag enemies, or your teammates can tag enemies. So everything is pretty minimal in terms of help. In the bottom right, there's a mini map that will let you know if an area is on high alert, if it's on lockdown. Bottom middle tells you if you have gear, if you don't have gear, how much ammo you have, if you have a ranged weapon, and of course where your ability or super is at, as well as how much stamina and health you have. Now, if you don't have Friar Tuck in your group, there's no way to heal. Now, if you die, it's not over for you. When you die, and it's bound to happen, you turn a corner that you shouldn't have, or you get discovered, you try to run, but you end up in a corner, whatever the case may be. At some point, you're going to go down, and that's okay. Being dead turns you into a ghost. You can still mark things on the map. You're going to keep on going as if you were still there, but no one will be able to see you, not even other dead players. So you're kind of in this ephemeral area by yourself. But when you die, you drop a talisman. One of your teammates can pick up the talisman, go to one of these control points, and there are 3 on every map, to bring you back. Or the little extraction circle at the end. So if you die, it's not over. One of your teammates just has to bring you back up. Now, once you get within range of the vault door, it will tag it, and it will always be tagged henceforward until you open it up. Additionally, when you get in range of the sheriff will be tagged, but only while you are in range. So once you're in, I would say, around 50 feet, more or less, then he'll be tagged. After that, he'll drop off, and you'll have to go. As long as you know the general area, you can kind of find your way back to him. When you do get close, there'll be kind of a T-Rex thumping going on the screen and with your controller if you have that set up. Now, every action you do within the game will give you experience. When you take guards out, you get a minimal amount of gold from doing that. Not a whole lot. The majority of gold that you're going to get is from extracting. So the whole goal here is not to take out as many guys as you can, although it certainly wouldn't be a bad thing to take out guys, to clear out the path, keep hordes of enemies at a minimum. And the thing to remember, though, is that no matter how many guys you take out, there will always be the same number of guys that are going to come at you when you extract. So even though we kind of did things out of order, I found the vault door first, and then the sheriff was found afterwards. It's not that big of a deal. Now, taking out guys stealthily, that is going to maximize the experience that you gain from it. Taking them out will give you some, just not as much. You get bonuses for them being unaware, assassination bonus. So if you're headshots, long shots, And of course, assassination gives you that 5 pieces of gold, which, like I said, it's not a lot, but it will certainly help you. The gold will be used to unlock items, both cosmetic and perks. And as you're going along, you're going to upgrade your hideout, which will unlock some things as well. When you get to doors that are openable, a couple of the characters can do it where they're not making any noise. They can pick the lock. Other characters basically kind of break it down, so if there's an enemy nearby, they're going to hear it and investigate. Alright, and I will leave the entire gameplay of this particular playthrough up here just so you can kind of see and be aware of what to expect, what to see, and how it all kind of plays out. And you can kind of prepare for your own run-through based on that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Here. Just what I needed. The forest sends its regards. For the people. attract less attention. The forest sends its regards. The state are aware.
There's a killer out there. Find him. Nothing.
The forest sends its regards. We own this.
Keep your eyes open.
Excellent.
Kill them.
Regroup.
Activate the vault. Nice. Get to the extraction point.